Welcome, AfterBuzzers, for today's After Show. In Luke Cage, we are covering episodes 9 and 10, and we were talking Tilda's Truth, the return of Mariah Stokes, and the legendary Iron Fist. Stay tuned for more.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, guys? We are back. I have returned. Glad the panel held it down. You guys are amazing.
Glad you're back.
Thank you, guys. Again, my name is Shaka Smith, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host.
Hi, Xia Anderson here.
Well, it's your boy Evan T. Mack. What's going on, y'all? Shaka's back. What up, baby?
What's up, guys? Man, I'm excited to be back. These are some excellent episodes.
You came right back right on time.
Like, this was like real nice. I'm a little selfish choice. I love all the reggae in this season.
It's rocking though,
yeah.
bro. Rocking.
Like on my own personal playlist, I'm putting more reggae back on. I'm like, getting reminded of all the classics. But let's jump into it. What were your overall thoughts? I guess we'll talk about 9. I guess we can talk about 9, 10 together, but also 9 specifically. What were your overall thoughts about that?
Yep.
Oh, I loved it. We're really getting to the meat of stuff. I'm so happy that we finally found out more of Tilda's parentage because they hinted at that, and I was like, well, who is it? Even though you kind of have an idea, but I'm glad that they finally got to that. And some of Mariah's character was revealed there, so that was rough. It was good.
Yeah, she's going through such a crazy, like her character arc is unbelievable. Like,
yeah.
Like her character arc is really unbelievable. Just how like the ebbs and flows and like how she's like evolving into this person. Like I mean, still finding ways to shock you in the show.
Yeah.
Still finding ways to take it to another level in the show. Which I really think it was cool that episode 9 they didn't make you wait for too long to see what's going on with Mariah and Tilda. Like they give you like pretty much everything you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, I loved 9 because you had the whole group together in one place, and all these competing personalities. Yeah. And of course 10, we finally get the payoff. We see Danny Rand, we see the Iron Fist. So that was really cool. But yeah, let's get into it. We got to talk about Tilda's Truth. Man, so we got all these characters in this building, which for me, what I noticed right away is that everyone was almost their very raw self. You know, especially Mariah. She kind of dropped the sort of councilwoman deal, and she was just really, from calling Misty Heffa, from that to
Her and Misty hate each other. Man. It's like the hate is strong.
Oh, yeah.
One of my funniest moments when Missy's about to beat her up. But yeah, so we see everyone really being themselves, and it lends itself to this Mariah and Tilda kind of like face-to-face, heart-to-heart, really. What did you guys think of that in the bombshell news?
I mean, first of all, their performances were amazing.
That's one of the best scenes in both seasons.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
Chicken
Hands
skin.
down.
She's unbelievable in that scene.
Yeah.
Tilda, oh man.
The camera work too, just when you see the snot and the
You
tears.
feel it.
Yeah, and it's crazy what you get to when you get to see like Mariah. Like this is it's all about that. Be careful. Like, do you really want the truth though? How bad do you want honesty? Yeah. And Mariah's like, okay, you want honesty? Yeah. I'm gonna give you everything.
Yeah, and did that surprise you? Because it kind of surprised me because Mariah seemed like she would never quite reveal everything.
Yeah, like not every. Listen, you can say a lot of stuff, but then to say like, the truth is when I see you, I can't stand you. I hate you when I see you.
Yeah, she basically told her daughter, well, not basically, she did. I don't love you. Yeah. I didn't think she was going to go that far.
Yeah, she went that far. Yeah. I'm like, man, so that she like fully embraced the Stokes, man. It's funny how things change when someone's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you get the raw self, and it's like clearly you're not planning to use her in the future again, because now she's not going to.
Well, because now she realizes that she can't go legitimate anymore. That avenue that she was trying to take is done, so she doesn't need to use her daughter for that anymore.
But you would think she would just like want to keep her daughter as a pawn around,
But apparently she was just for the Family First initiative. You know what I mean? Apparently that was all she wanted to do. Like, damn, there really wasn't no. I was dead wrong. Back in the day, I was like, oh, is she really trying to bond and use this? Oh no.
I
mean, for me, it's hard because I still believe that she loves her. But for me, I believe when she said "I don't love you," it was like "I don't love you" as a mother should love you.
Yes.
I think she tried, so there's some sort of like affinity there, you know. But she just can't.
It's a constant reminder of her sexual abuse, her rape. That's what it is. I'm sure she loved Tilda, but she literally sees him. You know what I mean? I think it's hard for her to kind of get to that point of loving her daughter when she knows she should.
Yeah.
Which has to have been hard for her.
Absolutely.
Just on that level alone,
Just, what did you guys think about the appearance of the building, the Danny Rand building? But how did you guys like that was going to be an element in the next two episodes?
Oh, I thought it was great. I thought we were going to see him in that episode, and then I was really disappointed. But then, of course, he came in episode 10. I was like, oh, thank God. But I was expecting him to see that. I'm expecting to see that. So it was just the building. I was like, okay, where's Danny?
I knew we weren't going to see him in that episode just because of the way it kind of. it was so big, the Rand. You know, when you saw it, you're like, I'm not gonna see him.
No.
I just knew this building's gonna represent him, but I was like, I'm gonna get that payoff later, right? Because they always pay you off in the Marvel universe.
They do.
So even if it's like a cheesy payoff, they always give you the payoff. They set you up and they give it to you, so it's kind of nice. And then we get, I guess, Bushmaster kind of rolling on the crew.
Oh yeah.
Listen, man, Bushmaster, because he's feeling, he like put it like this, he's blinded by like his drive to really just upset the apple cart. You know, it's not enough to like disrupt what she did for the family first. Like he legitimately wants her dead, especially when she dodged that bullet by getting out, like escaping the fire. You know, so like he's like, now he has to turn it up a notch. Now I got to do even more to try to kill this woman. So it's just interesting to see how far he'll go.
And was anyone surprised that Nandi was the one that tipped him off? Because that was just like...
That threw me a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't expecting it. Because you see her and Misty bond a little bit over Captain Rittenhauer's death.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, cool. Nandi's not as heartless as you think.
Yeah.
And then
you realize she's just as heartless as
yeah.
you think.
I mean, I know $3 million is a lot of money, but still.
Yeah, I loved it, and it fit for me. Because, with Mariah, we see her changing in a way that I didn't really see coming, and it doesn't make sense for me quite yet in the series. Like, I don't see how she flipped, but Nandi's flip kind of made sense in the whole backstory. We got a lot of backstory these couple episodes about different characters.
Yeah.
Plus, you're seeing like Nandi was like, I don't like Mariah. Like, you won't do what it takes to get Mariah. You know how that's killing Misty because she's like, I want to kill Mariah.
Yeah.
But I can't do that. She's like, no, like you won't do what it takes. So like I had to do something. Yeah. So she kind of sees herself as like the hero of getting rid of Mariah by any means necessary. So I think that was kind of interesting that she kind of doesn't feel like she's doing that much wrong. You see, she didn't even care.
Yeah.
Her attitude was like, it is what it is.
and I love we got that backstory of her on the basketball team and how she sold out homegirl from the jump.
Because then it shows you a bit more of her character, and then suddenly you're like, oh, okay, I guess this isn't that surprising.
Yeah, and you know why she always looked at her with a sort of like, okay, Nandi, I know what you're about.
Yep.
And did anyone buy the scene when Mariah goes Rambo? It was when Mariah picks up that gun.
Because the gun's too big, right? Yeah. It's the gun's too big. That's a cannon she was holding.
Yeah, and it feels like she's always directing people to do stuff for her. Like, when did she get this training? Because she had a couple shots that were pretty spot on.
Yeah, I feel like if anybody doesn't have training, you pick up a gun, you're not hitting anything.
Yeah, the recoil's gonna take you back.
Yeah,
it's just so big. The gun was so big.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta say, I think that was one of the mistakes in this episode. Was like she could have just stayed behind the table and waited it out.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But I guess they want to kind of preface that she's changing into Mariah Stokes.
Yeah, the only thing that can be said, or that I can say for that, is that it's her just being like, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah.
But still, realistically, can she aim and shoot the gun?
And shoot her way out of
this.
And we also got a little bit of shades of Mariah when they link back up, and we're going to see the fracture of that. But to me, they're one of the bright moments. I loved when they linked back up, that kiss.
Come on now, man. I missed you. I missed you too, baby. Yeah. We've been through a whole lot. We both been through a couple things. You don't even know the half of it. We ain't got to talk about it. Let's just kiss.
Let's just get it on. And he's got a gift for her.
Yeah. Yep. He's got a Nancy.
Oh, God.
I was, you know what? He's one character that I love. Yeah. I love him. I was really bummed. I mean, it makes perfect sense why they took him, but I was really bummed to see him in the trunk. I was like, oh, not a Nancy. Come on.
Yeah, because Nancy's that voice of reason. He's that old school Jamaican guy that's trying to make a living here.
He's trying to be legit. He's got a wife. He's got a restaurant. I love his wife.
Like, oh God, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't think Shades knows what this was gonna represent. I think he just wants to use him as leverage. I don't think he thinks.
Not even leverage.
I was gonna say, like he said, there are rules to these things. Shades also, he's very honorable in his.
It's like streetwise, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say not even leverage. I think it was like a love gift to Mariah.
Yeah, that's
I just want to show her my devotion and my loyalty.
That's a better way of looking at it. It's like, this is like, I want you to show you my loyalty is unwavering. Yeah. And then here's a gift for you. You're right. It's a peace offering. And we also got kind of a beautiful heart-to-heart with Luke and his father. So we got some sort of parental resolution here.
That was not bad.
Yeah.
I've not been a big fan of his father through most of this season. I was more on the side of Luke being like, nah, forget him. Yeah. Why would you talk to him? But he tried. Yeah. And he let his ego down. And I think that was the most important thing. And you saw how much he loves Luke, and that came out. And I think that was important to kind of get Luke to open up to him as well. I liked that.
Yeah, I think they're really teasing, I guess, Luke's emotional journey, which is like, been very stunted, you know? And so they're really, like, you're starting to see different elements that are starting to affect Luke. He's starting to think differently. We get Danny kind of being that sage wisdom in the next episode. And, of course, the end of the episode really ends with the return of Mariah Stokes fully. She's now, you know, what she's going to be or what she maybe has always been.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but for us, we'd like for you guys to return and watch and listen. And to do that, you got a couple tips, right?
Yeah. Hey, AfterBuzzers. Our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there's no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Yes. And of course, if you guys are in the chat, we'll try to respond to you and shout you guys out.
Yep.
Definitely appreciate you guys joining us tonight. But yeah, let's get on to it. We also, like I talked about the return of Mariah Stokes, and we're going to get the return of Danny Rand. How did you guys love the return of Danny Rand in episode 10?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was great. I was looking forward to this just because Danny Rand and, Iron Fist and Power Man, they're best friends.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for this, so I was really excited. And also, I like that we see, so in Iron Fist, Danny Rand is very troubled and his emotions are all over the place. He has no control over himself, really. And in this episode, obviously a lot has happened, and he's much calmer. He's much more centered. He's giving Luke some good advice. I really liked that version of Danny.
Really? I didn't like that version of
Not
Danny.
so much.
Well, it threw me for a loop because I was like, this is a different personality. Like, he's even walking a little bit differently. Like, you know? And so I kind of liked the Danny Rand that was sort of angsty and trying to figure it all out and wasn't sure what to do.
Yeah, he was definitely in another place, but I also like the element where he's like, Luke, it's okay to ask for help, bro. Like, this time I'm not even going to give you an option, though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You're taking my help. Because the whole thing about Luke is like, I'm on my own, and no one's here for me. I can't trust anybody. Like, everyone's left me. And then he was like, no, like, for this run, we're going to have a nice little run here. We're going to figure out some things together, and I'm going to try to help you get centered for this episode. You know what I mean? And moving forward. So I thought that was kind of cool.
And I don't remember, I guess in the Defenders, Danny Rand's got better control over the Iron Fist, but I just remember in this, when he walks in the barbershop, he can just do this at will now. So I love that part of it.
Yes, and that is the point.
He's got that zen moment, I guess.
It's chi.
Yeah. And so, and then we have the Anansi debacle, of course. Just what did you guys think of the viciousness of from start to finish? We really get Mariah I guess she's lost it in some ways.
Oh my goodness,
yes. It solidifies her as one of the most brutal villains.
Yeah.
I mean, she came in and slaughtered a whole bunch of innocent people and burned a man alive. That is literally the worst way that you can go out.
Because she was redeemable before then, because she was
almost
flawed.
human. Yeah, and she was trying. And I feel like you said, she was like becoming Mariah Stokes, or who she possibly always was, but she was trying to be better. And here she just lets go.
Yeah, when you seen the reaction from Shades, that's what summed everything up.
Yeah.
Shades has murdered people.
Yeah.
And he was legitimately stunned.
Yes.
When he was like, it was almost hard for him to watch. He was trying to act hard, but he was like, she's burning into alive right now. And he just stood there with that look in his eyes like, oh, she is okay. She's not who I thought she was.
Yeah.
Almost as a fact, like, man, she could do that to anybody.
But for me, that also didn't wash, because I'm like, you just got a dude with the head in the fish tank, and like, you know that this is the sort of brutality that's around, and you're Shades. How are you this?
Because I think it's because who did it. I think it's because it was Mariah. You know what I mean? I think he thinks, oh, all you guys can do this, and I can do this. Like, but she was that one constant that was going to bring him to like the legitimacy of crime. You know what I mean? We'll just be able to family first and just have a nice little, you know what I mean? And I think it's like when she did that, she's like, oh my gosh, she really is a gangster.
Yeah.
Like, I have no way out.
And she doesn't really have to do it because,
No!
I had to pause on the screen when I saw her check the phone. The lawyer comes in and says, hey, don't worry, you got your money back. And, I looked at the screen and it was like $356 million.
She's good.
Yeah. She doesn't have to do anything else.
Jeez, man.
Didn't you just say last week you wanted to go to Rome or Italy or something?
Yeah, go.
Yeah, so that was crazy to me. But the law is right. You know, my as a lawyer, my little spidey sense was tingling too. And so the law is right. If you do something under duress, you know, the contract is invalid. You can't just go running with a gun on somebody and have him
sign over your life.
Yeah.
Everything you own.
So that was a nice little realistic element in there. But looks like Ben Donovan is not done yet with this crew. And yeah, I guess we got Ingrid as well. I thought Ingrid was a nice little part of the story. What did you guys think of her character, and I guess how she really kind of brought Luke and Bushmaster together?
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Because it's one of those things where like I there's like that missed moment where like Luke Cage and Bushmaster could be like really cool in another life. It's like one of those things where I'm watching a show that I know how it's gonna go, but I'm like, man, I would just love if you would just not have killed a whole bunch of people, Bushmaster, and y'all just grew up together, and everybody would have been cool. Diamondback wouldn't be upset, and y'all just running Harlem together, you know. But I just like to give me a taste of them like together.
And because Bushmaster hints at it a lot of times, he has before saying, "You're not my enemy. Like I have to stop you because you keep coming, but I don't really have any beef with you."
That's what I love so much about that. Like he's like, man, we could be brethren like if this was a different circumstance.
Yeah.
I almost get a little bit annoyed at Luke for coming at him so hard.
Seriously,
I know that's crazy.
I do too.
Same.
I be getting mad at him like, yo, bro, chill out. Let him kill this woman.
Just maybe help him along the way. And I don't agree necessarily with all of his methods.
Yeah.
He is a homicidal maniac.
Yes.
Yeah. We know that. However, I understand why he's doing what he's doing.
And he doesn't really want to get any collateral damage.
No, he just wants to get to Mariah, and he wants everything that she has, and he's going about it in the worst way possible.
Absolutely.
But he's still not necessarily killing innocent people. Restaurants full of them.
Yeah, and from what we know,
that's true.
And from what we know, he's like kind of justified in this mission. So it's sort of like,
and the more you hear about that, the more you're like, oh my God.
Wait a minute, hold on. Why am I mad at this?
Yes.
And I know something that we had talked about a little bit with Luke and Danny, their friendship, is there were a lot of issues of like race and like I thought class that were brought up. What did you guys think of that interplay? Because you know you hear things like you're from uptown and this is Harlem. I got this. This is not where you're really supposed to be. And then we also got that element of the reason they're not shooting because you're rich, and Danny doesn't quite process that. No, he doesn't realize that his money affords him certain luxuries.
And to be fair, he only came into it semi-recently. He did have a very long period of time where he really didn't have anything. Yeah. So that's the pass I'm giving him on that. Is because but you're right.
But he knows his last name is Rand, and that's it.
Well, and also he keeps talking about how he's not living on his money, but then he goes and buys buildings. Yeah. He's just like, don't worry, I got it. It's like you definitely are.
You be living on your money, Dan. You better stop that.
And there was that moment when he made that comment where he's like, "Oh, I guess having money's not so bad."
Yeah, you're like, hello.
Yeah, it's that cool part when you're talking about what you're saying. Like, he's like, this borough is still a part of New York, though.
Yeah.
It's still part of like the same situation, and I still would have to deal with this. So I'm helping you here because it's all of New York.
Yeah.
And like Luke is like, man, this Harlem's different.
Yeah.
Like it is, bro. But he's like, I'm here to help, man. Just take my help.
Yeah. He's like, what is it? When the siren rings, like we all hear, you run towards it, and that's what they're doing. He's running towards the siren. But of course, he juxtaposed that with Claire's line, if not every siren is for you. And then we have that, what is it? The legend, not legendary Iron Fist. We have Carbone and that meeting that they call of the different clans.
Like, you mean at the auction?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just like that I was in a classy spot.
Yeah, real nice.
But I couldn't help but think, I'm like, how is nobody else hearing this conversation they're having? It's not exactly quiet.
I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't be eavesdropping on them because their reputation should precede them. So like I wouldn't be.
So they would know.
I'd be far away. I'm just raising the paddle for the auction. That's all I'd be doing.
And I was a fan of the fact that they threw in some history there, that what she was actually auctioning was this WB Du Bois, piece, and they threw in some really great history.
Yes.
And I think that is almost my critical part of these episodes is that they throw in so much that they don't really get to kind of explore a little bit more, because you have these great
why that painting's important.
Yeah, like you have the Basquiat that she's talking about, and you have the Notorious B.I.G. painting that's iconic, and you just get these little hints, but you don't really see it fleshed out or in the way that I'd want it to be fleshed out.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, see.
Oh, you're just gonna say, so you'd like to see more backgrounds on just what they throw in there.
Yeah, if you're throwing something in, I feel like there should be a little bit more to give us for the audience. You know? Because I feel like a lot of it's so throwaway that you're not like really sure.
Well, and that's the thing. A lot of it I actually don't know.
Yeah.
So that'd be another thing. It's like, oh, cool. That's a piece of information I didn't have before. Yeah. So yeah.
To your point, Shaka, I think they really do just assume like their urban audience understands all that history.
Yeah.
And they're actually wrong. Even the people that claim to be woke or saying that they're like real brothers and sisters. They don't know like about that kind of painting or W.E.B. Du Bois and stuff like that, and like what the cultural significance is. So I think they assume that all the brothers and sisters know, even the white people that watch it, they just know. Well, that's Biggie Smalls, but why is it important?
And I feel like sometimes they do it in a way that you don't necessarily take notice. Like where other shows, like they throw in a little bit, but it's there. So you see it and you're like, that's something I'm gonna go check in with later. I want to go research that, have a conversation about it later. Where this one is like you kind of get it, but you're like not really. It kind of flies over your head because the action is so crazy, and
there's so much other story going on too. Yeah. You're not really focusing on that as much.
Yeah, so I think they were intentional, but it was like you don't need to do it here because you got so much other stuff happening. Really? So if you're gonna do it a little bit better. That's my criticism of the series so far. And then we got the takedown of Nandi towards 10 as well. How did you like that fight scene?
Oh, that was amazing.
It was quick too.
That was amazing. It was quick. I wish there was a little bit more, but I mean, Nandi would be no match for Misty anyway.
You would think, right? Yeah. She did what she could do.
Yeah, she got a little. She got the first hit.
She got like a cybernetic arm, and she's still Misty.
Yep.
I was just happy she stayed on the ground because, like, are you going to continue the fight with all the people with guns?
I don't
understand.
Seriously. And I thought it was just silly that she tried to run. I'm like, well, you're not going to get it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
She did. I was like, girl, she was so close to. She's on that G5, G6.
You should try to run on the plane. You should have done. Like, like, open up.
She was close, man.
She was.
But I guess we can't really have predictions for 11 and 12. But I do want to get into some news. One piece of news is that during the auction we had Carbone, that they spoke to Carbone. That character actually appears in the 1992 comic book Punisher, and so that's something we may see in the future. And another piece of news is, I didn't realize this, but Adrian Young scored Luke Cage. So a lot of these songs for Luke Cage are actually like originally made for the series. Because I kept thinking, man, these songs are on point.
Right.
Like, there's the right tone, the right tonality. And so we find out that, at least I found out, to all the fans out there, the music is very specific for the series.
He's like commissioning these OGs and these legends to create new stuff. Yeah. And but still with their legendary appeal, and they make new songs tailor made to the show. That's one of a kind stuff.
Yeah. And this guy does it for orchestras, and so now he's working on Luke Cage. So
that's awesome.
Pretty awesome, actually.
And I'm still waiting on hopefully some season 3 news.
Yeah. You know, I know it's coming. The show does really well. Yeah. I was listening to Theo Rossi, the guy who plays Shades, on a couple shows, and he's already talking about it. Yeah. So he's just waiting on, you know what I mean, the moment. He says, and I was watching this really cool thing, speaking of news, he said he can't wear glasses anymore, ever. So he said he cannot wear sunglasses anymore. And I think that's hilarious. That he can't
funny.
So that's great, because everyone's going to call him Shades wherever he goes.
I'm telling you.
Right.
And I didn't know they shot most of the show in Harlem, though. I didn't know, because I get fooled sometimes. They can build sets so amazing nowadays, but it's really they in Bushmaster lives in Harlem. So they like live like right down the street. May she lives like right down the street. So she like knows the neighborhood. So people like know her as she's walking to the set.
That's cool, because
awesome.
And you almost feel that, because the authenticity is there in terms of like the community and the feel of it. So that's amazing.
She said people try to come to the set that are like her family people, and they're like, oh, you can't come to the set. Like, we know her. Like, well, you can't come to the set. So I think seriously. They're like, is it on the streets? I was like, oh my, I thought a lot of it was set, so none of it's real place in Harlem, which I think is really refreshing. That gives it that real appeal.
Yeah, that explains why it feels so authentic.
Right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome. And I think instead of predictions, I'll do a did you know it was coming?
That's a good one.
And so, we see Shades, and we already see he's breaking down, he's kind of questioning what's happening. Did you see it coming? And did you see the full breakdown that we get in the next episodes?
Not the full breakdown, because I would think because I thought when he killed his best friend, lover, and stuff like that, that was him kind of like cutting, like stopping the bleeding. Like, okay, now I get back to Shades. But it still is affecting him. So I think him even unraveling more kind of surprised me. Just a little bit more.
Yeah. How about you?
A little bit, but I've kind of been predicting this for a while now, that Shades and Mariah, something was going to blow up there.
Yeah,
just that something was going to happen, and I was expecting this.
Yeah, I just didn't see Shades like being so affected by the killings. You know what I mean? Something else maybe, but like not the killings. That's what you do.
I think, and it was Mariah that brought it up, and it was like, yeah, it's ever since he killed Comanche. I think that he thought he could do it, and it caught up with him, and he's like, oh my God, I killed one of my best friends, someone that I actually was in love with.
Yeah.
He didn't have to kill Comanche. I think that's what's bothering him. He didn't have to kill him. Like he rationalized it with he's a snitch, but like, bruh, you gotta let this do because Comanche's plan was to he really wanted to get them both out. Yeah, he was gonna say like just bury Mariah. That's why he said, "Yo, cut her loose, so we can just cut a deal. You and I came out of jail for this. To get my man. You know what I mean? So it's like I think it's really surprising that it's still bothering to this extent though. The Shades, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you're supposed to be the dude that takes care of it.
He walked right up on Ken and just shot her right in the head, man.
And I wonder, is it like is there a gender issue? Is it because Mariah is the one doing the killing now? You know, is he fine with like his boys doing the killing, but as a female, it somehow makes her less feminine or less, you know?
For some reason, I don't see that coming from Shades. I just from his character, I don't necessarily see that. I think that it's more, like you said before, he thought that they were going to go legitimate together.
Yeah.
And he keeps mentioning the rules. He mentions that over and over.
He's old school.
I think he's old school. And I think that what it was the massacre of innocent people. I don't necessarily think it was her. I think if she was killing another gang member or something like that, he would have no problems with it. I think it was just how far she went.
There's that part he says like, well, you killed Candace. He was like, oh, she knew the rules. When she took that money, she was in the game. Like, so don't try to put this. That's part of the old school.
She was in the game. Oh man, we're gonna have a lot to cover for 11 and 12. Is there anything you guys want to bring up on 9 and 10?
Oh man, it was really good though. Like they. So we touched on earlier how great the acting was.
Yeah, Alfre Woodard.
She's a bad man. She is. Listen, I get upset with like award shows because award shows aren't what they should be. That's Emmy award winning performances. Like whole season, her if she didn't get tapped for an Emmy, that stuff kind of bothers me.
She came alive in 9.
She's
to me. 9 was like her moment. Yeah,
man, she's unbelievable in that episode, and like just the whole season in general, just how hard she has to be. And then she's like. I've been watching her forever though. Yeah. You know what I mean? But to see her do this is really awesome. I like to point that out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There was so much going on, and we talked about so much. I don't think there's anything in particular that I had.
Yeah, and I guess we didn't really touch too much on some of the sage advice, I guess, that Danny was giving Luke throughout the entire episode. I mean, which was almost at times overbearing. I was like, clearly Luke is not trying to hear this right now.
Oh no.
Let's get to the work. But he's really focusing on saying, Luke, stay grounded, and it's going to help your fighting. What did you guys think about how he's trying to like calm him down and give him that Eastern philosophy?
I think that that's important just because Luke was going off the rails a little bit. And I think Claire saw that, and that's why she called Danny. She was legitimately worried about him. And he was letting his emotions run how he did things, and that can make you blind.
Yeah.
It can make you do things you wouldn't ordinarily do, like what he did to Cockroach. Granted, I didn't mind that so much, but he still afterwards was like, why, as soon as it stopped, you could see a look on his face of like, oh, what did I do?
Yeah.
And I think she was worried that was going to keep happening.
And I will say, I think it's like black men, we don't want to emote too much. We don't want to say, oh, I'm weak, or I'm feeling this, and I need to deal with this and calm my emotions down or my anger down. It's
true.
And so we try to move on and go through it. And you see that Danny's really trying to say, look, address it. And he even says, I think at one point he says, look, Kunlun, that's my past too. So like, respect it. Because, Luke is kind of like,
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think we tend to do that with stuff we don't understand. But he's saying, look, I have, this is my history. You have your history. I respect that. This is my history.
Yeah, and they didn't just give him the Iron Fist. Like, that place, they had to run the gauntlet in that place. It's goodness.
One of my favorite moments that made me laugh so hard is he keeps bringing up the dragon, like, and it's so funny that every time someone asks him, he's like, Kunlun, I'm the immortal Iron Fist. Like, he just starts telling everybody about it, and Luke's like, shh. But the best is that Luke still won't believe that there's a dragon, and Danny's like, you have bulletproof skin, and I have a fist that lights up,
glows,
but for some reason the dragon's where you draw the line. He's like, you don't believe in a dragon.
He's like, no.
No, he's like, of course not. That's crazy.
but I think that speaks to sometimes like we do have these pasts that people don't acknowledge or respect or maybe are ignorant to.
Yeah.
You know? And it's easy to be ignorant to that because it's a dragon, but like that's what this dude lived through. It's probably the most important thing he's ever done in his life, and you know, it's probably an emotional thing for him, and everyone's treating it like a joke. You know?
That's so true.
And so hopefully we'll see Luke emotionally grow some more, especially in season 3. So
Ivan Soto said the badass patty cake fight sequence Luke Cage panel discuss.
Patty cake sequence?
With the patty cake fight?
No, when he's like, I'm ready, and he put his hand out.
Oh, that was nasty.
Yeah.
That was
Thank you,
epic.
Ivan.
Yeah. Shout out to Ivan, because that was crazy.
Yeah.
I went crazy when he did that.
That was awesome. And it was great to see them fight together, too.
Yeah.
God.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that was another moment where Luke was going to punch the door through, and Danny was like, hey, just a moment.
Yeah.
And he's...
Yeah, you turned.
pushed it open. That was great.
Yeah, and I think in 9 we also got that funny moment where I think Mariah says, "Why don't you just break the door down?" And he's like, "I have the code. I don't need."
Yeah, just push it in.
I know the billionaire. We're good. Yeah, so we got some beautiful bright moments there, and we got some great ones in 11 and 12. So we'll have to discuss those going forward.
Oh, what was the line he said? Oh gosh, what he was like? He's like, "How do you know Danny Rand?" He's like, he said, "Hot yoga." Like, don't worry about how I know this dude, man. They were like, "How you know this rich dude?"
They've got some great like humorous dialogue that we sometimes miss because we're so caught up in the violence and the action. But that one scene where he throws Danny too, and that was awesome. Because I was wondering, what are they gonna do here?
Man, was that movie? That was very Power Man and Iron Fist comic stuff. Shout out to that. That was really awesome, actually.
Yeah, I think one thing the series does get right 90% of the time is the action. The action's great. Yeah, save for the Nandi scene.
Oh yeah. Before I forget to shout out to your boy Danny Rand, because he didn't have a lot of people don't know, because this is crazy. I don't know if you know this. You know he didn't get like any time to be able to train for this.
Oh really? No.
Like for some reason the Marvel show did not give him. I'm not even joking. He probably had like 3 weeks.
Wow.
To martial arts training to be Iron Fist. So everyone was criticizing this kid. And they were like, why is he not good? Because they literally didn't give him no time.
Yeah. I remember that, Evan.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he was upset because he's like, guys, they're not going to take me seriously. They'll be like, no time.
Yeah.
So I just like to see how good he is now. You see, he's been working. I can tell how much it means to him because if you watch that sequence, he's doing a lot of that stuff and he looks so much better. He looks more comfortable. And I just think that's crazy how like he didn't get any time to be this. Because for people who don't know, in the MCU, he's like the greatest martial artist ever.
Yeah. I wonder if they did that on purpose because they wanted him to have that Danny Rand sort of like I'm unsettled feeling.
No,
because his martial arts is still supposed to be like
after Conrad. He's supposed to be like loosely on steroids.
Yes.
And like they were like, we're filming it. We're just doing it. He goes, we'll just get stunt people. He's like, they're not gonna like that.
Yeah.
And people really didn't. It hurt. It's the lowest rated show on Netflix, Marvel show.
Really?
Like Jessica Jones is like 90.
People
Punisher's like
didn't like
90.
it.
Luke Cage is like 90. And like Iron Fist is like 18.
Oh,
22, 23. It's one of the lowest rated ever. And I think that's why it hurt. Because they didn't let this kid train a little bit longer. I'm telling you, he got like a month, maybe.
Well, the pressure is on now.
Seriously, I'm actually impressed now.
Yeah, now I'm excited to go.
Oh, sorry. Steve in the booth agrees. Thank you for bringing that up, Evan.
There you go.
I appreciate it.
I was like, what? I said, something's not right because they picked this guy, right? And I kid you not, I had a client. Like I do massage therapy, I have a client, and they're like, they represent him.
Yeah.
They represent Danny Rand, and they were like, he didn't have any time to train.
Oh, so you got like the real
the inside information, right? This is like my first inside information. Like no, and he's like, I was like, well, I said something wasn't right. And they're like, oh, Evan, he had like 3 weeks to train. I go, what?
Wow.
To be Iron Fist?
Crazy. Well, I think he still pulled it off.
That's what I said.
I think he still pulled it off.
3 weeks?
I didn't notice.
I noticed that and it's funny because I was noticing that the fight sequences weren't as strong.
Right.
And I mean, think of Daredevil. They're incredible in that show.
Yeah.
And coming into this, and that was one of the problems I had with the show. I definitely wouldn't rate it that low, though. I actually enjoyed it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, the show I thought was enjoyable.
Yeah. It's not, one of the most amazing, but still.
It's not Luke Cage, but no.
Right.
I was just really glad when I seen that fight. I was like, oh my gosh, he's so much better.
Yeah.
He's been putting in the time and the work to get better because he doesn't want to be this kid that just has stunt doubles all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we will talk a little bit more about everything in episodes 11 and 12. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Again, my name is Shaka Smith. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
I'm Xia Anderson. You can find me on Instagram at XIA_LAND, Xia_Land.
How you doing, guys? Evan T. Mack, Instagram and Twitter. Holla at your boy.
And we will see you guys for episodes 11 and 12.
Yeah.
Later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.